Hello everybody, welcome to the video. Today we are going to be starting a new rebuild with one of my teams. I should say I have these couple of teams spread throughout the league with some of my favorite players on them, one being Alec Pierce. I know he's hidden behind my face cam just a tad bit, but Alec Pierce on this team, he's one of my favorite players from last year's draft class. I'm in love with Bernard Ryman. He's been a really interesting story. Anthony Richardson, I haven't really been a fan of his, but Jelani Woods is someone I called being good out of college, and hopefully that can come to fruition. Julian Blackman, I'm a big fan of. Zaire Franklin, who is good, I think, like solid. And then Julius Brents is actually a high overall player, and I wanted to point that out. I have no interest in him coming out of college. I didn't even think he was I don't know where he was drafted exactly. Let's can we go ahead and see that? I was gonna say early second round, but this is more mid second round 13th pick, and it's good. He has size, he has all the traits you need to be good. He's a great athlete for his size. Can't wait to develop guys like Josh Downs, who honestly, if I'm being honest, I'm gonna have Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, wide receiver 1 and 2, Isaiah McKenzie as the 3. Ashton Doolin, unfortunately, I think will be out for the remainder of the season. So Josh Downs will move up, and then skills, I might have Downs in the slot. I'm not really sure how I'm going to set it up yet, but I do want to develop Alec Pierce, get him like star development or something in one of these early years so he can actually start developing. We are in need of a guard, and Will Fries is not going to do it for us, and Pinter lined up to start at right guard is fine. But Blake Freeland, also another one of my favorite players, BYU, 6'8", 300-pound tackle with us. He's pretty athletic, pretty good, so a lot of things could lead to him being really good. And oh my goodness, he actually doesn't look bad, like, at all. Lead block's the only thing that kind of sucks, so to put him out at guard really doesn't make sense. But Blake Freeland could be the next starting tackle once Braden Smith's out of here or something like that. We'll have to see, but we are set up for good, success. Normally I don't take this long representing or introducing the team to y'all, but I did this time. I thought it was necessary. Obviously Jonathan Taylor has his little drama sequence going on. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to pan out. Apparently he's supposed to be present at practice but not participating due to a shoulder injury that everyone knows is bullshit. Let's go to mid-season, see what sort of actions we have to take with the team and what sort of decisions we have to make, and see where the team's standing at that point. And at the mid-season, I was gonna say, if we have a good season going on by Anthony Richardson, we could potentially be a winning team, and we are at 4-3 at mid-season. Is not bad. Anthony Richardson isn't doing great, but I'm sure he's doing okay on the ground. 3.4 per carry is a little underwhelming, but Jonathan Taylor's doing great. Maybe we should focus on that a little bit more. Receiving, Alec Pierce is bringing in the second most yards, which is good. Michael Pittman well on track for 1,000. Alec Pierce with 4 touchdowns is awesome to see. And TFL's DeForest Buckner's tearing it up with Grover Stewart right behind him, and DeForest Buckner, Kwity Paye, Samson Ebukam, interception from my guy Julian Blackman, Utah. Safety, he's still generally young. I think he's 25 and has a lot of room to develop. I really like the way he plays. He can kind of fly around. But what sort of negotiations, what sort of contracts do we have to extend towards this next season? And oh my lord. So yeah, the 25-year-old Julian Blackman, I'm not extending. Mackenzie Moss, Minshew, not Taekwon. So we kind of have $74 million to deal with. Grover can walk. I mean, if he wants to come back, we have extra money. I'm sure a 1-year deal would be fine. So he wants a 2-year deal, it looks like. I'm not interested in a 2-year deal. I'll give him 8, 9.5 if he wants to. Yeah, he wants to sign a longer term deal. I'm not really interested in that. But Julian Blackman, like I said, still a lot of room to develop. I think in the next 2 years, we'll know if he's our starter or future or not. So we'll go ahead and just give him this contract. He should be back. He should be able to develop. We're waiting on these two right here. I want to get Pittman done as early as possible, especially while he still has interest. Kenny Moore is an interesting one, and Kenny Moore is back. I gave him 5.5 salary and a 6.5 bonus for the next 2 years, I believe. And now onto the Jonathan Taylor contract. He's one of those quarterbacks. He's one of those running backs that just make is a factor in the offense. This is a lot to pay a running back, though. Oh boy. Okay, he signs back with that. I was gonna say, if he doesn't sign for this, I don't think we can retain Jonathan Taylor, but I think he'll be worth it in the long run. I want to keep Michael Pittman Jr. just as long as we can. He's only gonna get better. He should be really, really good by the end of his career, and this should be a great deal for Michael Pittman Jr. and whatnot. So that'll do it for the contract part of the midseason. We'll see if we can negotiate with Grover Stewart by the end of the year and see where he's at. We'll do scouting national focus, and and then we'll be moving on. So focus scout, I did interior offensive line, and then we'll just go to the playoffs if we can make it. We actually finished the season 7-10. That's pretty bad. That's middle of the row. We'll have a pretty bad pick. Oh god, we'll have a pretty bad first round pick. We won't make it deep into the playoffs. We don't have a chance at a Super Bowl, and we also don't have a top of the line pick. So 7-10 is actually one of the worst records you can get, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. So we'll be moving on. We have a pretty good playbook. It looks like everything's pretty balanced out. If we can just improve the team as is, our playbook should be able to do the rest for us, because Madden is great. Also, drinking a feminine drink, Alani. So if you guys want to make fun of me for it, go ahead, but it's good. It's not my favorite, but it's good. I'm not trying to, you know, hashtag ad for them, but just letting y'all know that if you want to call me a woman, go ahead. I'll be very upset at that. I don't know. I just know people have kind of a beef with Alani and whatnot. We're going to accept this option on Quiddy Pay for sure. Grover Stewart has lost interest, which is fine. And most of these guys have. Taekwon Lewis, once again, just isn't worth bringing back. Rigoberto Sanchez, I think we'll let him off. And looking at the board, we really have no interest down the board, which is okay. I made sure to put the, like, you know how there's the interest bar. If it's all the way down, it doesn't matter as much. I just put the strength as low, because I don't think it's realistic at all, like the way it is currently, and you have to overpay so much to get it. So it is what it is. We'll look around free agency. I'll let you guys know with the contracts I'm going to try to negotiate here. Okay, so we're going after Carl Lawson, Uchenna Nwosu, 2 pass rushers we don't even need. Well, we need 1, Quiddy Pay, and who else? And now that Grover Stewart's gone, we should tackle interior, which would be nice. But I mean, Uchenna Nwosu is probably a little bit better of an option than Carl Lawson at this point, and I'd rather have the age of Uchenna Nwosu. So we're looking at John Johnson, who will slide at free safety, and then Julian Blackman, who's currently at free safety, will slide him over to strong safety, no problem. And then Cesar Ruiz, we're kind of in a battle here with the Titans, and if we come out victorious, I'll be fine with it. If we don't, I'll be fine with it, not a big deal. And Kenneth Murray to hold down the interior with Shaq Leonard. Zaire Franklin isn't getting any younger. Like I said, just need to find that replacement for the interior, replacement for Grover Stewart. So we end up getting Cesar Ruiz, which is huge. We don't really need guard anymore, so I kind of wasted my focus scouting there. Kenneth Murray is on the team now, so good to see that. And then John Johnson, who will stick at free safety. And like I said, we'll just slide Julian Blackman over. We are going after Zach Sealer to help out with the interior line, one of the most underrated players recently that comes to mind. So we'll have to give him a little bit more money here if he wants if I want a stronger case to get him. Uchenna Nwosu, someone I pretty much have to get at this point. So we'll put a bit more money into him, and hopefully he comes to his senses and Uchenna Nwosu signs. But I can't guarantee anything. Now I almost can with Uchenna, and we also get Zach Sealer. So Uchenna to play the other side of Quiddy Pay, and Zach Sealer to come in and help DeForest Buckner with the interior, with Cesar Ruiz to come in and start immediately, Kenneth Murray to come in and start immediately, and John Johnson to come in and start immediately. Ooh, actually, Samson Ebukam is really good at 29 and 77, so he's a little bit older, but we still will have to bring down Uchenna Nwosu to play over him, who I signed a right linebacker, or right outside linebacker. And another piece I did not, talk about on this team is Adetomiwa Adebawore, who was insane. I think, out of Northwestern, 282 pounds, 6'2", is a little undersized. Comes out and runs in the 4.5s, I believe, running 89 speed. They gave him 92 excel. Power moves, finesse moves aren't great. Block shed isn't great. He's a project player and probably won't ever see the starting lineup, but as a rotational player and athlete, he's insane. Like, that's just that's crazy. Oh, and here's another guy that I'm like, I was so preaching for this guy to go in the first round. I think Darius Rush went in the 4th or 3rd, but out of South Carolina, opposite of Cam Smith, Darius Rush has all the traits to be great in this league. 6'2", almost 200 pounds, ran in the 4.3s, 24 years old. He's a little bit more experienced, 70 overall. He will play a role on this team, guaranteed. and we'll move Julian Blackman to strong safety, and then we'll start the draft. And these guys down the board don't look bad right here. We pick at number 12, but Bo Downing looks really good, but so does Eddie Stroud, Oklahoma State. But I'm gonna look at Bo Downing real quick. This guy could be really good. I want to see what he runs in. 4.44 is really good with elite jumping, A catching traffic, C catching in general, B deep route, D medium's kind of scary, but B release. He should be okay, like pretty good, all things considered. And then we'll go back down to the center right under him, Eddie Stroud. We'll see how much we know about him. 95% scouted. Oh my goodness, he is an athlete and a half. Skills are looking very good. If either of these guys are available at our picks, I would guarantee we pick them, and if someone falls, so be it, but we'll have our options. Like I said, we pick at 12, and these guys can be picked, so we do have to get like a backup plan in. Even Tim Thompson here isn't so bad. I mean, look at this down the board, even Adrian Teague, and I mean that still looks really good. And then there's some high upside players down here like this guy, if he ended up being good. So yeah, if you guys didn't watch my like most recent videos, like the one I drafted on like max sliders, and it was insane. So it's weird kind of seeing these normal draft classes again, but we'll just sim to our pick and make a pick out of the like 4 options we have at the spot. And I'm going to take the insurance of Eddie Stroud over Bo Downing. They are both still available. You just look at the athlete of this guy with all the 4 shores here. We have him 95% scouted. It's just better than taking someone that could be pretty bad in that receiver, or someone that just wouldn't offer as much. And Eddie Stroud can take over for Ryan Kelly. I know Kelly's kind of on the older side. I don't care to trade up again. I'm not desperate for players right now, and I would even consider trading some of these draft picks. So we'll look down the board. We'll find, I'm sure we'll find somebody like this guy at the very top doesn't even look that bad. And here's a guard that looks virtually insane. And I mean, the only thing that's bad on him is the pass block power. Do I draft a guard here? Is this Quentin Nelson's replacement? No, he's just a really good player, and I hate to pass up on good players, but I mean, what am I gonna do there? This guy looks like a really good like linebacker almost, the Trace Bundy at the top. And there was another guy I found really interesting down the board. It wasn't him, it was this receiver that's somewhere down here. Where is this man? There he is, Geo Kitchens. I didn't really look at him, I just saw his rating, saw he's 5'11". I was gonna say if he ran super fast, there's a chance he could be pretty good. This guy doesn't look like insane. You can kind of look around, and sure, he could be great, but I don't know. And okay, here's someone that I'm definitely going to take. Emmett Clemens with second in the 40-yard dash and elite acceleration, elite agility, vertical threat tight end with A medium route, C short route, A to C stiff arm. You got to look around and find things you like about him. So Emmett Clemens, welcome to the Colts, my friend, and you probably aren't as good as I thought you are. So unfortunate, it was a little bit of a gamble, but we'll move on. This many B's in the 3rd round is not bad. Scouting report has him as an elusive back, and I saw he has A to C catch and traffic and C to F catching. So it's probably C catch and traffic and C or D catching, and can kind of pass block if that ends up being okay. He could be pretty good, just a backup running back. So I don't really see where his value is. He'll probably be my Mr. Reliable if we can't find anybody else in this class that's worth taking. And I'm not really interested in corners at this point. And Geo Kitchens, the receiver right here, seems to continue to fall, but not really interested in him. I think I'd rather have that running back. I think I just found Jake Bobo, Tyson George, or Geo, or what is that? Yeah, George. Okay, so I said it right the first time. F deep route. So this is basically Jake Bobo. No, okay, so Jake Bobo ran in the 4.9s. And this is basically his draft profile right here. He's actually killing it right now in the preseason for the Seahawks. So good for Jake Bobo, someone I actually liked coming out of the draft. So I think we'll just go with Tevin Davis here, though. We'll see how good he is. I don't really expect, hidden development or anything like crazy. And if Geo Kitchens is there, I don't think I could resist. He's definitely worth it in the 4th round from what I can see, but can also end up still being like a 68 overall. And that's just Madden. Now I'm gonna have to go with Terrence Sims here. He just looks like the best player in the 4th round. B catching, B man coverage, B press, 6 foot, a little bit slower. If he learns zone coverage, he could probably just play like he's like a bona fide slot corner. If his awareness is good, there's some upside here, but nothing that looks insane, but just worth a 4th round pick from, you know, compared to everyone else on the board, I should say. Let's see what these guys came out to be, like what overalls they are. Draft a recap. So we did do pretty good, actually, all things considered. Eddie Stroud was a 72, so not as good as I thought he was. Emmett Clemens was really good at a 73. Telvin Davis is a 74. Good to see. Terrence Sims sucked. And the CPU got Mitch Langford, a 73 down the board. Roquan, that guy, those guys aren't as great. So NFL, go here and see the best guys. Let's see if we can, or if we missed out on anyone that we were generally looking at. This guy was a 6th round pick. Floyd Wooden out of UCF, the wide receiver, out of 76 overall. Good for him, you know, figuring it out. And then Bo Downing was a 75, so the right pick at that point over Eddie Stroud would have definitely been Bo Downing. And, you know, I'm not really seeing anybody else I've missed out or just didn't, like, I just missed on maybe. Geo Kitchens was a 75. Should have taken him. So that kind of hurts, stings a little, if you will. So we'll move into next season, and you'll see it like tomorrow, me or something. But I'll set up the team for me to take over. All right, well, I wanted to go ahead and make some trades, but I just couldn't make any happen. Like, I have like 5 or 6 players I want to trade or are viable for a trade here. And starting with, I know Jonathan Taylor's just been granted permission in real life to seek. Ashton Doolin, center Ryan Kelly, who's 31, and then perhaps Brandon Smith as well, or Braden Smith, not Brandon. And then Deo Adeyingbo. And then you can go down the board. You can kind of find some Samson Ebukam, and then both of our safeties actually, Rodney Thomas and Nick Cross. But nobody wants them, so I don't know what that's about. But nobody really wants them. And a year that I viewed as a building year still, like we're still building up because we're only like an 83 overall. We're waiting for some guys to develop, some contracts to clear, and then we'll start making our push. But Indianapolis starting at 3-3 is a lot better than I thought. We'll go ahead and look at the players ready to negotiate their contracts right now after week 7. DeForest Buckner, no. Zach Sealer, no. Adeyingbo, no. Doolin, no. Ryan Kelly, no. Zaire Franklin, no. EJ Speed, no. Will Fries, no. Nobody I want nobody here. Look at Morstead. What a go. He's almost 42. That's crazy. Looking at the rest of the things we have to do here is national focus, which I'll do on my own time. You guys probably, I'll probably just go after linebacker or something stupid. Yeah, I'll try to make some trades, I guess. Done deal Ryan Kelly for a 3rd. We just sell him and we get some profit back, and that's all we can ask for. I hate that it takes you back to the menu after every trade. It kills me. Done deal DeForest Buckner, Nick Cross, Samson Ebukam across for just a 1st round pick from the Bears with some draft capital in there. Pretty pointless stuff. Yeah, just offloading some pieces, kind of getting ready for a big jump in the roster here, big renovations, big moves and whatnot. And we're not necessarily going to throw the second half of this season, but I'm going to put in all the people I want to get XP, that like I want to put them in higher positions in a better spot to gain that XP that I want them to get. So all the people I want in places that need to be put into a different place to get more XP are in the places now. Let's go to the playoffs, aka the end of the season. See how we did, see how we do, see how we can progress, and see if we can still win. Okay, so we get 6-11, which is good and bad at the same time, but it's okay. It's a good thing. Didn't really intend on a winning season. Like I said, just another building block towards the grand scheme of things. Anthony Richardson with a solid season. Need to lower that interception number. Receiving wise, yeah, I wanted Alec Pierce to get more, but he didn't. Nothing you can really do about that. Sealer was really good. Kwity Paye, Chenna Nwosu. Deo Adeyingbo was the the team leader in sacks, interceptions. Zaire, Kenny Moore, Shaq Leonard, all the use. Oh man, been put in a weird spot here, like team wise. We've got a lot of diversity through the team between overalls and ages, and it's gonna screw with things for sure. And we get Deo Adeyingbo back, and that's pretty much it. We have guys like Zach Sealer, Doolin, and Zaire Franklin that are ready to renew their contracts. I just don't see the reason to do so. Let them walk, head into free agency. look for some good players. We'll try to bring in Baron Browning, DJ Jones, Harrison Phillips, and Rondale Moore. We don't really need another edge rusher with Kwity Paye and Uchenna Nwosu, but Uchenna Nwosu is getting pretty old, and I really love the player that and the skill that Baron Browning brings at 87 speed, 92 excel with 86 power moves. DJ Jones and Harrison Phillips should just come in and be our momentary defensive tackles, and Rondale Moore to beef up our wide receiver room and really just establish a number 2 guy. And Rondale Moore's reeling in a few more offers, but other than that, we get Browning and DJ Jones. I'm fine with losing out on Rondale, and we won't get him. I'm sure we'll lose him to the Cowgirls because they just are, yeah, they're dumb. Number 100 still Harrison Phillips, the only one not to negotiate so far. I'm sure he'll still become a Colt, so go ahead and move on. I'm sure we'll get Harrison Phillips. So, and this should be a pretty major draft. We've got a few good picks in it, including the number 5 overall pick. So, I mean, you look at the draft board, and I'm sure we'll see some good players, ones that we want to trade up for or whatever. So, yeah, we have 2 picks within the top 10 picks. That's really, really good. But my only concern is there going to be players worth it? And so far, I see 0 players I'm a fan of in this fucking class, and you've got to be absolutely joking me. The one time I go in on draft picks, I mean, these guys literally look like they suck. Like, they literally suck. That's such a bummer, man. Enrique Ortiz is the only one that looks semi-good with elite strength, skills, you know, like, sure. He's the only one I'd consider taking. I don't know. If he falls to us at 5, maybe, and then we'll have to trade 9 away for some next year draft capital if we want, like, anything in return. Like, it's so bullshit, man. Like, it's such a bummer. And I hate the way that scouting works. And Enrique Ortiz goes off the board at number 1, of course, and then Rashad Edmonds. And then Denver Broncos, Deshaun Kurtz. And then at number 4 goes the other tackle, and the only thing that looks good now is a quarterback with what's his face, Kalen Morrell, and he doesn't even look like anything crazy that I know of, with, you know, good attributes, okay athlete, A under pressure, A on the run. He could be pretty good. I mean, he could be really good, but we already have our quarterback of the future, and I'm not ditching that. I mean, you look down the board, and sure, Jerry Clay might look good. Sure, you might say that this guy looks good, but not worth these picks, man. Like, it's not worth top 5 draft capital to get this in return. Chet Burns looks like he could be meh. Okay, that's good. Pass block and pass block power really worries me, along with the C run block power. It's just disappointing. And Eddie Stroud, by the way, is a superstar development. So, good pick by me. Done deal. This is like not the best of both worlds, but you're getting like good stuff back for a top 5 and 9 pick, like Tremaine Edmonds, and then to get their future 1st and 2nd along with 2 starters immediately will be good. We only give away Braden Smith. Blake Freeland will come in and step in for this year. I think we're just going to put the rebuild on another, you know, setback this year, and then head into next year with these expectations of turning the franchise around, and I can't put that off any longer. So next year we'll really have to make a push. We'll really have to sign some of the big guys. We'll have to come in and we'll have to do well in the next offseason if that's our plan. And I'm not picking another running back. This guy doesn't even look that bad right here. Defensive tackle Carl Spellman, 6'5", 308. Great strength, looks like an okay athlete. B awareness, B power moves, B finesse moves, A tackling, we'll see blockchain. There's something here with Carl Spellman. Early in the 2nd round, we'll take him. Normal development sucks ass, but so does the rest of this situation. Oh, okay. This guy down the board doesn't look that bad. He's got a lot of bright spots here. So if catching traffic's good, he's got A catching. Scouting report, we'll go back to that, and I'll show you guys. Physical receiver with 6'3", 219 size, at 22 years old out of Stanford, and can be pretty good as an athlete, is really good for his size, and you just look at his skills, and like I said, there's a few bright spots. We'll take Benjamin Allen, which is just not a normal development type fucking player, but since today is today, he's going to be a normal development player. It's so stupid. It's a done deal. John Johnson will be on his way with a 4th this year, 6th this year, a 4th next year, a 5th next year, a 3rd 2 years down the road for Jalen Petrie, who will come in and be my star free safety next to Julian Blackmon. I'm still going to trade away one other guy. And if you guys know where I'm going with this, try to guess. We're this close to making Kenny Moore a 7th, 6th, 7th, 4th, 5th for some Hoffman guy for cap reasons, but for the 1st round pick. So we'll get rid of one of these 7ths and try to put in something of need for this team. And I think I have someone in mind. Done deal. We had Blake Freeland in there. I forgot we got Darnell Wright. So we got Darnell Wright, and then we give up all this stuff in Kenny Moore, Blake Freeland for Ball, and the 1st round pick. So we did it. We have like 3 1st round picks in this upcoming draft. We cannot afford to have our bad scouts and or a bad class. All right, so I have the team set up how we like it here. I still can't get over Eddie Stroud, I believe his name is, getting superstar development. That's pretty huge. Jonathan Taylor with superstar, and then whoever the hell this guy is, Vogel. And Alec Pierce will slot into that number 2 spot while Josh Downs plays the 3 and the slot. We'll still have Anthony Richardson, new acquisition, Darnell Wright, and Bernard Ryman will be playing at tackle. Defensively, now Jalen Petrie, Julian Blackmon, and by the way, I look like a fraud now. Yesterday, Bengal released a rebuild on the Colts. So, yeah, I've been doing this through the span of a week, and then it's going to release on a certain day in the weekend, or even on Monday possibly. But basically, I do this through the week, record like a season or 2 every day, and then go through, you know what I'm saying? And then edit, post it. And so I was recording the 2nd day, and Bengal releases one, and that happened recently with a draft video where I boosted the slider. So I'm sorry if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Bengal is another Madden YouTuber who seems to think we seem to think a little similarly with what we're doing. So it is what it is. I'm sorry if you guys are getting repeated content or you don't even click on this video because of we've already seen a Colts rebuild. So he does a lot of things in one day, and I just don't really do that. You know, I don't necessarily have the not the time. I'm sure I can fit it into a day, but I'd rather spread it out through a few days, keep it fresh, keep it new. Let's head to the playoffs, or I guess we'll go to the midseason. Why not? Let's go to the midseason, see what stats and everything's looking like, see if we need to, we need to negotiate contracts and whatnot. I did a career sim yesterday. That'll be out by the time you guys have seen this for a couple days now. Aiden O'Connell, if you guys want to see that, go watch it. It's pretty funny. We are 4-2 at the mid-season mark. Let's go ahead and see what stats and everything looks like. It is going to be interesting to see what these do look like. I'm not trying anything new or anything special. I'm just curious. Well, that's very, very low from Anthony Richardson, first of all. But I'm curious how like a good season would stack up versus the rest of like the years. And look at these very, very even receiving numbers. 21 receptions, 21 receptions, 22 receptions, 21 receptions, 201 yards, 266 yards, 267 yards, and 268. Touchdowns are the only thing a little uneven here, with Josh Downs doing what he needs to do. Defensively though, gonna look for pressure on the quarterback, which does not look like we have. Kwity Paye's been all right, but new acquisition, Harrison Phillips, Baron Browning doing okay. Interception wise, I mean, once again, okay. It's nothing like special, and we're not looking at anything crazy. So good numbers, I guess, but we'll keep it moving after we negotiate some contracts here. Curious who's here. I'm sure there'll be a big contract or two. Yeah. That was to say the least. We've got a few people we want to bring back here, and Alec Pierce being one of them. So we got Alec Pierce, now we got Kwity Paye back, so that's good news. Moving on to Jalen Petrie, the new acquisition, and he doesn't really want to be here, but I don't really care. We'll give him enough money to the point where he cares to be here. And yeah, that should do it. Jalen Petrie is back. So we just got Kyler Gordon and Julian Blackmon back as well. Just some longer term deals. Bernard Ryman's a little bit older at 27. I'd still give him a 5-year deal to pique the interest in the contract with him having 0 interest. And I mean, tackles just don't really fade that often. So we'll just do that. Jelani Woods, if he has interest by the end of the season, I'll be more than, pleasured to bring him back. But Harrison Phillips and DJ Jones pretty much on their way. They were only supposed to be here for this year, and they really haven't done their job. Harrison Phillips, sure, he's plugged the run up pretty nice, but DJ Jones really hasn't shown anything, and Harrison Phillips is like 32. Let's go to the playoffs. Let's see what we got to do. I'm going to choose national scouting focus, but next thing you'll see from me is at the end of the season. Never mind, I lied. You guys are seeing me right now. So I'm going to do set focus scouting on middle linebacker, but I didn't show you guys these. This is my scouting. So look at the right side. You see the national region, see the strengths. Look at for national, for west, for central, for northeast, for southeast. We have a lot of draft picks coming up, a lot of good ones coming up in this draft. So I wanted to make sure we were good on scouts, and I did a pretty damn good job, if you ask me. I'm sure it's pretty easy to do, but I never pay much attention to scouts at all. So for me, that's really good. And we lose. We go 9-8, so still a winning season, but we just can't make it into those playoffs. Look at the overall season stats and awards. Anthony Richardson nearing 3,500 yards. Burp. 24 touchdowns, 14 INTs. Sorry for that. I'm drinking some Monster here, and you know, I'm not really accustomed to it, so yeah, I don't know. Jonathan Taylor, 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns, pretty good stuff from him. Receiving wise, Alec Pierce was our leading receiver. Good thing we brought him back. No one really produced in the touchdown department other than Josh Downs, who had a solid season touchdown wise, but I mean, we still had an even spread across the board, 67, 67, 67, and then we have 52 down here. But defensively, a lot of tackles to go around, tackles for loss to, I guess, go around as well. And then sacks. Carl Spellman ended the season with the most, so he might take a step up. We might not even need to, sign another veteran defensive lineman for the interior. Interceptions, Tremaine Edmonds with 3. He had an outstanding season, all things considered. 7 TFLs, 2 sacks, 3 interceptions, lead the team in tackles. Julius Brents with 3 had a really good season as well. Shaq, Julian Blackman, Kenneth Murray, etc., etc., etc. Good stuff from the team. I'm happy. We're kind of on a little bit of an uprise right now. I am a little bummed about the good record, putting us further back in the first round of the draft, though. Let's see if we need to make any last minute re-signs, and then we'll head into free agency looking for some particularly good players. And also, sorry if I sound a little congested here. I'm going to accept both of these options from Anthony Richardson and Darnell Wright. Probably shouldn't actually for Anthony Richardson just get the deal done as soon as possible, but unfortunately my brain doesn't work that well. Okay, well, there weren't that many great players to bring in, I guess. So Ronnie Stanley will go after for a year, and Grady Jarrett will go after for a year. It'll be interesting to see where these guys stand, because we're not going to get Ronnie Stanley. Oh wait, we did. Okay, Madden's just bugged. Grady Jarrett now is getting offered multiple different contracts, so we'll have to do our best to get him. I want him. He's an interior presence that just should be and will be impactful to a team. So we'll do our best. I'll put the most money I want on him, and then we get him as well. So I like that. But I mean, like I said, it just wasn't a great, free agent class, and people have been complaining that no class has really been entertaining in free agency. There's always just a bunch of older guys in there, which, I mean, it is what it is. I like a little bit less than last year, where there was just a bunch of, it was loaded sometimes, and now it is kind of just a little boring. But it's a stepping stone to the draft, where you should probably focus a little bit more than free agency, if I'm being honest. But I like the instant know what you're going to get in free agency, and I know a lot of other people do as well, so it could be a little bit better. So already looking at some pretty good stuff here. Great strength. This is an outside linebacker with power rusher archetype with C zone coverage. So that should tell you already, what we're looking at. But A to C finesse moves and B to D power moves. He could be bad. He could be pretty bad. But Earl Farmer, not really on our board. We pick at number 14, 16, and 28th. And 14th, 16th, and 16th. So we're not really looking to be the richest guys, and we're not going to really want to trade up when there's a guy like Darren Lewis down the board. Man-to-man, Ohio State corner. If he's there at my pick, you best know I might make a good run at it. But looking at this class, it's nothing incredibly special, in my opinion. Ronald Hyde, another guy that looks okay. This guy could be pretty good. Chris Davis down the board. There's just a few guys that, they could be good. And then there's a few people that you kind of look at and you're like, what are like, do you really need to be a first rounder? Like, what are you doing here? I was actually gonna trade up to this pick right here to take Darren Lewis. He goes a pick before the Ohio State man-to-man corner. So we go to our pick, see if we can find anyone that might be remotely worth it. And if we can't, we might be on the move again with some trades. It'll be interesting though. We got Michael Pittman 2.0 here with A spec catch, A short route, B deep route, A catch in traffic, B release. So we got a little 6'5" physical archetype. Notre Dame, he looks good. But I mean, we have Alec Pierce, who's a pretty effective deep threat. We got Michael Pittman, who's already a pretty physical specimen, and Josh Downs to play the slot. Do we need Najee Fletcher? It looks like he's the best player on the board available at this point that I can see. And unfortunately, he just doesn't really fit with what we're trying to do. And I mean, I'll come back to him, you know, if I like it, but I'll take a look around at other people, I guess. Okay, this guy doesn't look good. So what I'll do is I'll trade down, and then I'll trade this pick for like a good player or something. And then at 16, hoping that they don't go at 14 and 15 between a corner and that wide receiver I showed you guys, then we will be able to draft one of the two. So let's go ahead and go to trade center and trade away number 14 overall in this draft. Done deal. Some Sims kid that we picked early in this one. 7th, a 6th, a 7th, Uchenna Nwosu across for Lucas Van Ness. I know I didn't even trade the pick, but I saw the deal for Lucas Van Ness and how easy it would have been to get him. So we got him. Done deal. Mitch Langford, Baron Browning, and a 2026 first, which is the 14th overall pick in this draft across for Brian Burns. I know we just acquired two edge rushers, but Kwity Paye has not been the player I wanted him to be. And that's simply that. And Kyle Harrison off the board. And I don't know if that's not a receiver. So we'll have our pick of the crop here, the corner or the receiver. I could probably use the receiver upside right now more than the corner, but we also need corner getting rid of, or I guess we just have a middle of the row corner room that I'd like to improve on. And Ronald Hyde, 5'11", 194, good size. Physicality though, look at this, physicals, 4.36, insane. Elite, and then the rest is solid. That has to do with like an insane athleticism. So man coverage, Ronald Hyde seemed like a little less of a gamble, a more for sure thing over that receiver. So, I mean, if that receiver falls to 28, so be it. We'll get him there. If not, we'll try to find someone else. We'll look around. We'll do our research. So this might actually be Michael Pittman 2.0. Scouting report, 6'2", physical wide receiver, 223, 21. He's a little bit more of a bowling ball, but B break tackle, A catching traffic, C catching, B deep route, C short route. He looks interesting, but Corey Brown, and I mean, there's a few players that look good. I'm not going after Luke Lasley, even though that is a crazy good name. Like, I just like that name. It rolls off the tongue right. And then this corner looks okay. Let me find him. This center looks pretty good. This corner looks pretty good. This free safety looks pretty good. This wide receiver, that's Corey Brown, the one we already looked at. So there's like some okay depth in this, and you can keep going down and you can try to find more good players, and doesn't seem to really be there. But I don't know what we're going to do. It's a tough one. One thing I'm going to complain about really quick. My national scout was a wide receiver and cornerback. A national scout, and Luke Lasley, 50%. And this guy right here, who actually looks really good, is only 50%. Explain that to me. Explain that, please. You guys saw my scouts. There's no reason these guys should be this low. Now, Damon Leonard, I know we just took a corner, but B awareness, B catching, B press, B zone coverage, and he's a man-to-man. So with B zone coverage and man-to-man, and the possible A to C man coverage, he's looking like the leading pick here. And then I'd probably rank him, and then Victor Venable, and then this center, Craig Gentry, and that's all I've looked at so far in depth. I'll keep going through. I want to make the right decision here. Now, here's an interesting one. This guy's like 300 plus pounds, so D tackle of the future. We already have one of those. And then we have Grady Jarrett there for you. This guy can develop behind him as a run stopper with A tackle, A block shedding, A play rec, has C awareness, and B power moves. So He looks pretty good. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to make our decision. And we might even have to trade up for another one of these guys, because I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. It's not like end of the world great, obviously, but I mean, like, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And okay, I've just been hovering over this guy the whole time and just didn't even realize he's a run stopper archetype with B power and finesse moves with elite strength, A tackling, and block shedding's got to be a B if he's a run stop archetype. I don't know, man. There's, like I said, a lot of great players up here, and we can afford to trade up maybe twice at this point to come back up, so we can get like 3 players out of this possibly. Somehow we'll see like who kind of falls and whatnot, and see like who's worth it. But I'm trying to be as methodical as I can be, and I'm just trying to find the best player for the pick. And I've made my decision. The highest upside player at this spot is probably this the D tackle right here, Cedric Flynn. With it just makes sense, so I'm gonna go Cedric Flynn, and he's normal development. That sucks so much. Yeah, he just looked like a good pick. I could be wrong for sure, but like I said, I think we can afford to trade up again, so we'll skip ahead and see if good players start to go. I didn't like him, and I mean, didn't like him, so we're on the right track. And we have a couple of picks coming up, and since I stopped with you guys, only one good player has gone off the board, and he wasn't even my favorite corner on the board. Keep going down. He wasn't great. Make my selection. I will gladly make my selection at this spot with I mean, I can even trade down and still get my guys. Corey Brown's still here, one that I liked, and then George Kirkland, the 6'3" Auburn corner, still here, like I mentioned. I thought there was like at least one other one. Yeah, it was this guy right here, Daryl Keys, I believe, 6'3", 305. It was this guy that I liked, so we'll go with him. He seems to be the highest right now, so he has the highest chance of going off next. So we'll go Daryl Keys. Normal development again. I'm gonna shoot someone, dude. This is insane. And then for the last pick here, it's between Corey Brown and George Kirkland. So George Kirkland is a little interesting to me. Auburn corner, 6'3", 208. Man-to-man archetype. Keep that in mind. So he's a man archetype with B zone coverage, but only B to D man coverage. So he'd probably be a B man coverage, B zone coverage, B tackling, B press, B catching, C play rec with B to D awareness. If that's a D, we are screwed. So George Kirkland, overall, it's a less of a gamble. I'm going to take George Kirkland here. And hidden development is huge. 90 speed at 6'3" with 83 jumping. I like the pick there. And then if the receiver falls far enough to the point where it's like, okay, probably need and or want to take him, we will. I doubt we'll get to a point, but I think that it's worth it to at least stick around and wait to see if he can fall to us. We are kind of in a little bit of a problem here. They have only $820,000 in cap space. Not good for us, because the only person, I mean, like Evan Hull, and then I'd have to add some crazy stupid bum from, you know, way down here that's worth a little over 320K. Someone that's particularly a little older and on the last year of their deal. Done deal. We sent Darius Rush. We just signed and whatever. We just got 2 extra corners, plus I plan on trading for one, so spoiler alert, sure, but it's just not, you know, worth that hassle, and we'll just take the good players on the board, and Corey Brown seems to be that guy. 6'2", 223, 21 years of age, has some pretty good upside, only 4.5 speed, catching traffic, C catching, something's here. And hidden development as well with 86 speed. That's so slow. And draft recap comes around, and Ronald Hyde at a 79. We definitely made the right decision here. And then a 75 Cedric Flynn, 74 Daryl Keys, George Kirkland, the Auburn corner, was a 76. So we instantly are goated at corner now, despite both of them being normal development. It sucks to see, but it's what it is. And Corey Brown. Wait, did George Kirkland? I think he has hidden, right? Yeah, hidden development. So George Kirkland will jump the depth chart pretty well. So yeah, I mean, looks good. Let's see the rest of the class. See these guys that I might have or missed out on. So Sean Woodson off the board, Levy, Is this the... Okay, I thought that was one of them. Danny Hood, the right guard. I actually saw him. I was not interested, though. We'll look down. So, Venable was pretty good at a 77. Would have been an okay pick. Only if he has hidden development, though, and he has normal. So, very good pick by us to let Victor Venable go. So, it was a good decision. Happy with that. Looking down the board, like I said, I'm just looking for... Yeah. So, 77 would be Najee Fletcher. This is the guy I wanted. And I probably should have, you know, made an effort to get him a little bit better. George Kirkland. I'd say, all things considered, we did a pretty good job. All right, I'm happy with it. And then Darren Lewis, the guy we were going to go after, and we got a way better player in the corner we got. I can't remember his name. Ronald Hyde. I'll set up the roster and depth chart how I like it, and I'll make a trade possibly. We'll see what kind of lines up, but I think that's the plan right now. Line up the roster, make a trade, and then you guys will see tomorrow Ian take control of the next season's team. Look at how deep we are at defensive tackle. We got Grady Jarrett and then Daryl Keys now, and then Spellman and Flynn down the board. They're all good in their own ways, so it's not like they're all ass. They're good. And then we have Van Ness, Brian Burns now, Kwity Paye. Spoiler alert, he's gonna get traded. That's a fact. And then left outside linebacker Shaq Leonard, Tremaine Edmonds, and Kenneth Murray, probably the best linebacking crew in all of the league. And then we'll have to make a change to the corner room. Ronald Hyde, Brents, and then Gordon. We'll probably Gordon, Paye, and maybe a pick or someone else will make a good trade package. I got to put Jalen Petrie at free safety, where he actually played the last half of the year at in the Texans offense or defense. Done deal. Shaq Leonard, Kwity Paye, Kyler Gordon, a second, I think 2 years from now, a first this year, a third 2 or 3 years from now, even, I think 2 years. AJ Terrell is going to be a Colt, and very happy about that, but we need a linebacker now. So I'm going to scour free agency and maybe have to make something happen. It's going to be tough, but we're going to need a replacement linebacker. Now, this guy right here, Franklin Mann, he's an edge rusher. He's an edge rusher for sure, but he's like a Frankie Louvu type. He's a good athlete and can roam around the middle of the field, understand the game. So we just signed him. He's a 23-year-old. Like, look at this. This free safety right here, 77, run support. 77 overall, 23-year-old, just sitting in free agency. By the way, like, what in the world? Yaya Diaby. Quite fun player coming out of Louisville. Him and his teammate, Yasir Abdullah, were both really, really fun to watch and cool. I like Yaya Diaby, but he's just not the type of player we're looking for. Great athlete, but like I said, just not the type of player we're looking for. We're looking for more of the middle linebacker. You know, Owen Papa, Troy Anderson even still here, but Owen Papa is a little interesting. I'm looking for the more higher rated guys like Buddy Johnson, but man, to see Owen Papa, pass coverage archetype, 71 overall, 93 speed. I'm going to sign him. So we should have a pretty good roster, all things considered, even with the absence now of Shaq Leonard. And we have the team kind of how we like it now. So look at the left side of this line, just straight superstar development players. Alec Pierce, Pittman, Downs. We have an okay receiving group. Obviously not that defined number 2. Probably should have been trying to work with the game and not with my personal likeness with Alec Pierce, and probably should have just tried to develop Josh Downs. He could possibly be at like an 85 overall right now if I tried. So unfortunate, bad decision by me, but we made a lot of other good decisions. Anthony Richardson's still only an 80 overall. Isn't great, but he can do the job for us. Owen Papa are going to play in this spot, even though Fred Mann's higher. He needs to play a little bit more of that linebacker, and Fred Mann, his zone coverage isn't spectacular. Owen Papa just fits the scheme and placement better of this spot. And down here at our excellent defensive line, where we've got Spellman, who performed last year like crazy, Flynn, who might step in for Grady Jarrett at some point, with Darrell Keys. Next up, I think our first round draft pick, I can't remember, but Brian Burns, Lucas Van Ness off the edge now, Brents, Terrell, Hyde, and then we have Kirkland to still develop behind Brents, and kind of our Brents replacement. Blackman, Petrie above, and in the line we'll have Spellman, Grady Jarrett rushing from the interior of Van Ness, and Burns off the edge, obviously. Kenneth Murray and Tremaine Edmonds both going to monitor the middle of the field as our sub linebackers. Julius Brents at slot corner. Josh Downs at slot receiver, Jonathan Taylor at power and third down back. We've got ourselves a pretty good team coming along here, and we made huge jumps in roster terms, and we still have enough money to sign our quarterback, which is absolutely huge. So I'll let tomorrow Ian take over. So the two things that I think we need before we head into any sort of run, and I'm looking to go all the way in, is a tight end and a wide receiver too. It just makes sense that that's two like vital pieces. I've been too focused on everything else at this point, and just really haven't committed to a great wide receiver too. And then another tight end wouldn't be the worst thing ever. Won't be able to acquire or trade for any of them. Just something I mentioned. Top to midseason, see how the new look Indianapolis 87-year-old Colt, 87 overall Colts are doing. It is the next day. I'm in the same shirt, yes, and I've got another monster. So I crushed 2 yesterday. I got 1 today. So yeah, we have started 4-2. We have a breakout linebacker. We have players ready to negotiate, and then scouting focus. I'll just do wide receiver for fun, see if there's any generational ones I can trade up for or get. Lucas Van Ness with 1 year remaining on his deal at 25 years of age. He has semi-interest in coming back, which is good. I'd like to keep him around. So we'll see if this is enough to keep him around. I know the extra, 3 years maybe. Very appealing to him. Quentin Nelson, a 3-year deal or a 2-year deal, just kind of what I'm looking for at this point. Probably shouldn't just be handing out money like this when it's very limited, and we might have players down here that we might want to bring back. Ronnie Stanley was a 1-year rental. Owen Papo, I mean, sure, if he plays well enough. Grady Jarrett, same thing if he plays well enough. Owen Papo, Franklin Mann, Ronnie Stanley, Kenneth Murray, all kind of up in the air. I do want Josh Downs back. I expect him to be the wide receiver 3. Brents, Edmonds, I want back. I want all of them. So running a little low on money now, but we did extend everybody that we needed to. And Grady Jarrett's the only one kind of up in the air. But at 33, I don't think that we'll be doing business with Grady Jarrett or anyone left. I think that we can find replacements for everybody else. So, I mean, there's that. Let's go ahead and actually look at the stats and awards real quick. I know we didn't really do this. This didn't really come to my mind in the first thing. So Anthony Richardson over 1,300 yards, totaling 9 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Very good stuff by him. Jonathan Taylor, 99 carries, 460 yards pretty much. Anthony Richardson with 6 touchdowns, Taylor with 4. Receiving, Michael Pittman with 350, 2 touchdowns and downs, and Emmett Clemens, Benjamin Allen coming in on 4 catches, actually has 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is very impressive. Wow. And we finished 6-11. Welcome to Madden. That is man. What are you gonna do about it though? You know, what am I gonna do about that? What should I do? Obviously you can change playbooks and mess with different shit, but Anthony Richardson, okay. Jonathan Taylor, it was good, needs more usage. Receiving, Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, Emmett Clemens, Jonathan Taylor, Benjamin Allen finished the season on those 4 catches for 180 something yards. Defense, it's almost not even worth looking at. I'm sure they were ass and part of our, they were 25th in the league. So on to next season again, where we'll look to do some good. And this is just the class for a wide receiver too, I tell you. The best and highest overall rated players, Wan'Dale Robinson out of 78 years old, or 78 overall. I keep doing that, it's gonna piss me the hell off. Grady Jarrett, our best option at D tackle if no one's really, in the 3-4 placement here. This is very, very dull class. All things considered, I think I'd be better off without any of these guys. So Nakobe Dean is going to be the only contract we go after. That'll be our Owen Papo replacement. We get him first go around, which is cool. But yeah, I wish there was more to go after in this class. There's not. I don't want to bring Grady Jarrett back, so we'll move along, go to the draft, see what's up. And I actually don't remember what playbooks I'm on. We are still just sitting on Indianapolis's. I'm going to go Dallas, and then I'll try to find San Francisco 49ers. I think they do a 4-3, so 4-3s or whatever, so that's fine. West Coast spread on offense. I just need more. Scheme fit is for XP, I've been told, so we'll just do that. But yeah, Dallas offense is pretty OP, and then I'm trying out San Francisco defense. I know there was an update to the game. I'm not sure what it did, but yeah, I don't know. Fun stuff to maybe learn after I'm done recording this. And we'll head into the draft. It's being very slow. It worries me. So we're going to need a miracle here. But Kevin McLaughlin, the West Virginia wide receiver with F catching, is actually a round 1 talent. We have the 8th pick in the 2nd round. Let's hope that we can get lucky. And he's still there when we do it. The odds are very far against us here at this point. But it's still possible. All right, it's only 40 picks into the draft. If he's number 44 and a round 1 talent, there's a chance that a Kevin McLaughlin is still here. It does not look like a Kevin McLaughlin is still here, so unfortunate. There's this guy right here that's round 1 to 2 that I'm not gonna take. There is one hell of a corner here though. Daniel Dudley, straight out of Wizard Camp. I don't know. B catching, B press, C play rack, A to C man coverage, B zone coverage with man-to-man archetype. He's going to be pretty good. Somewhere in the 75s if I had to guess, and with hidden development might look like a 76, 74 in that area. With hidden development is looking really, really good. Go to number 8 in the 3rd round and see if we can scavenge anything up in that round. I doubt we'll find too much. This guy's got a few hints that he's going to be okay. Juke move sucks, but A to C awareness, vision, whatever. I did not mean to do that. Let's go Sean Rice. I feel like we need a running back anyways. And he runs a 4.5 something and he has 91 speed. Explain that to me. That's freaking insane. If I were to pull a receiver with like 4.51 speed, that's like 89 speed. But for a running back, it's 91. Like, Madden. Consistency, man. I need that. So Daniel Dudley was a 79, so a very good pick by us. And Sean Rice was a 73. So another, you could say, pretty good pick by us. NFL draft class. We got one of the best players in the class. Round 2, 8th pick. I told you it was a steal. It didn't look like any like high picks in this draft were really, really good. So wow. The interest to me this year is freaking insane. So this is a 24-year-old receiver on a rookie contract, I think with 3 years left. This is a 22-year-old cornerback with a bit left on his contract. And they equate no interest. The amount of bullshit this is, man. I don't think you guys understand. This is like heaven for some teams to get these like 2 players this young and an 8th overall pick. Like, hello, like, wake up. This is a good deal. Pisses me off, man. Therefore, there will be no trades made, and we'll head to the mid-season. I'm doing 2 seasons this season of the rebuild. Doing 2 seasons of the rebuild today instead of just 1 and then moving on tomorrow, because I'm not going to be here tomorrow because I'm going to the Niners game. So let's hope that's fun. Let's go sim ahead. Dude, monster screws your brain out, man. Also makes you beat your wife. And the magic of playbooks. We are 6-1 now, and I mean, obviously pretty good. So 6-1 to start the season isn't bad, but hopefully we don't flip in the second half. Anthony Richardson, 1,400 yards, 19 touchdowns, leading the NFL. 4 interceptions, which is also really good to 19 touchdowns. Oh boy, I cannot speak. Jonathan Taylor was doing really good receiving wise. Pittman, Downs, Alec Pierce, Clemens, all getting an even go at it. Defensively, Van Ness has 10 TFLs, and Darrell Keys leads the team with 3 coming from the interior, and then Cedric Flim coming from the interior. Lucas Van Ness, Carl Spellman even has 1 from the interior. Brian Burns, Tremaine Edmonds. So I mean, we're looking good so far. I think our defense could improve. I'll go look at what they are numbers-wise, statistically. Look down in the bottom right, right over there. Defensive points per game, we're number 13. And offense, we're number 6. So we are looking good. Let's head to the playoffs, see if we can finish out the season strong. So we finished okay. 11-6. It's not bad. It's pretty bad considering what you started off with. It's not like Cardinals a few years ago or 2 years ago or whatever. Anthony Richardson in total equates over 3,500 yards, 35 touchdowns, threw a little bit more interceptions in the second half there. Rushing, Jonathan Taylor was really good, almost averaging 6 a carry. Pittman over 1,000 yards, going for 1,200 and getting 10 touchdowns. Alec Pierce backs him up with 10 touchdowns as well. Downs with 820 yards and 9 touchdowns. Clemens was pretty good, all things considered, for a younger, middle of the row Tight end, Tremaine Edmonds, really good. Van Ness was fine. And I want to see sack pressure go up. Like Madden, I haven't seen a guy in double-digit sacks since I've been simulating, I don't remember it, at least. Like, I have 2 very good edge rushers, and you know, it is what it is. You're not gonna get sacks, so what's the worth of even having them? We win, we beat the Jets, so that's good. Let's see if we can beat the divisional, or beat the Buffalo Bills in the divisional to get past and head to the conference championship. And we lose 28-0. So what an experience. I forgot to negotiate at the mid-season, so now we have a bunch of contracts that are going to possibly expire with me not thinking about it at the mid-season. So Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson, what? Why is he the one? Why? Is it finally time to get paid? I thought we already paid him. Am I like out of my mind? I thought I already paid this man. Well, glad he has interest in the team, but we can't afford to let him go. So I'm going to make sure he stays, give him like 25 mil a year. And he is happy to sign and continue playing for this organization, as he should be. Should be very thankful. Darnell Wright, another 4 years wouldn't hurt. He's got some interest in the team. This should go. Darnell Wright, welcome back. 105 million though feels like a lot. I'm curious if someone retired. Cesar Ruiz, you know, 4 over 4, 3 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, it looks good. 8 over 3 years is not bad. Clemens can walk. Telvin Davis can walk. We just drafted his replacement. And JT wanting to come back. You can have a 1-year deal, my friend. I will give you all of thou money in thou world. Just to come back for a season, and he will stay. You give him enough money, they will stay. It's confirmed. I don't know if anyone retired, but if they did, I don't know. We might find a replacement for him, but we're going for Mike Gesicki for a year and Kenny Clark for a year. This might be the last year of the rebuild, despite not being, you know, done with the week. But we've been going at it for a while, and so I need to find out what works and then really apply that. It doesn't feel like actually a while. It's like 4 seasons, I think. I can't, like, I don't know. I can't be sure. I'm delusional. When you do these things during, like, over the course of a couple of days or a few days or whatever it is, like, I started this on, I believe, Monday. Could have even been Sunday. It's Thursday today. And you kind of just lose track of what you've done, especially early in the rebuild. So at least I do. I don't know. Other people might have better memories than me, including my 90-year-old aunt. Oh, there's this guy at the top of the board. I'm very interested because he's a top 5 talent, and we'll go down and see if we can find anybody else. I mean, this class looks very strong. At least it looks good. This guy doesn't even look bad. Doesn't look great by any means though. But yeah, the guy at the top is a top 5 talent, and with a guaranteed something like that. And I've got a few pieces of ammunition that I believe the Cardinals might be interested in. So I mean, I'll try. There's an outlandish chance it happens, but I'll try. We're getting there. So this is our next 3 first-round picks, plus some random tackle. Alec Pierce, who might actually be weighing this trade down. They want, like, a good wide receiver. I don't want to give them a good wide receiver, but if they like Josh Downs enough, they don't. I'm not giving up Michael Pittman Jr. Done deal. It's Hyde. 3 first rounds and the next 2 round or second round picks that we have. 4, 1, 1, and a top 5 receiver. I didn't even look at this guy. This guy could run in the 4.6s for all I know. I just saw he was a top 5 talent. Said screw it, let's have fun. For the first time in my life, possibly. Carmelo Kennard. 5'11", 198, 4.44. Nothing insane. He's not generational by any means, but looks good. Almost like a running back in a way. Carmelo Kennard, welcome to the Colts. So we get Carmelo Kennard. It's a fun one to say. Imagine he's like a 76. Like this draft class sucks ass. Be hilarious, but not so much. Sure, after recap, he's an 80 overall. It was all worth it in the end. Not really, but he was worth it. I'd say best player in the class. No, Nick McIntosh has to come in and take that away. But I don't know. We look good. We look good for sure. Do I regret it? Yeah, already for sure. That's a lot to give up for an 80 overall receiver. That's not even generational. I don't care. We're having fun. And here's the lineup. Did Anthony Richardson always have star? I felt like he had superstar. I guess I'm wrong. I have development trait regression off. Michael Pittman, I moved Kennard to my wide receiver 1 and slot receiver. Defensively, though, we're looking pretty good. I'd say that. I'd say it's pretty safe to say. Julian Blackman up. He's a 77 overall, but up to a superstar development. Kenneth Murray up to superstar as well. Tremaine Edmonds still sitting here. Burns, Van Ness, Kirkland, Brents. Like I said, I put Kennard in the slot. So, should be an interesting season for sure. And Anthony Richardson's up to an 85 overall. He just got his money as well. We'll see what this team can put together in the first half of the season. Cool, we start 2-4. Not worried about it. We've seen seasons flip upside down. Maybe this one could flip right side up. We'll have to see on that. We'll look at the players ready to negotiate. We have $125 million to get all these insane deals done. There's actually just a few like good contracts. Quentin Nelson's already 32. I remember extending him through 32 years old, but it could have been today. Like I said, I'm pretty much just done at this point. Like my brain just doesn't work at like this point in time. Eddie Stroud, 25 years of age, our superstar center. Love to keep him around long term as the center of the future. Love to see that. Loading. Yeah, we know it's loading. Ryan Burns, I'd like to bring him back on like a 2-year deal. I give him like 24 mil a year, which is absolutely insane at 30 years old. But he's looking to sign something else, so enjoy your time, my friend. Quentin Nelson, maybe at the end of the season. Same thing with Kenny Clark. I'm fine with that. I'm going on like we're doing another year. I doubt we will, but I don't know. This year is going to be one hell of a stepping stone to a decision, because this could be incredibly demoralizing having an 88 overall team going 2-4 in the first beginning part of the season, and then at the end, if it's just as bad, it sucks ass. So we actually do finish 8-9. What a way to play, ladies and gents. It's so stupid. I have a good team. I feel like I have the right playbooks. Anthony Richardson with the best season probably yet. Jonathan Taylor was fine. Carmelo wasn't even that special. Might get offensive player of the year or offensive rookie of the year. You don't know. Kenneth Murray actually is equating the most tackles on the team. Kenny Clark, there it is, double-digit sacks. 19 TFLs and 10 sacks. Absolute force on the interior. Love to see that. Carl Spellman playing well under him. Brian Burns and Van Ness, just ass. Not even worth any of the money. I'd rather sign 70 overalls and then get 2 beast defensive tackles. It looks like kind of be the strat so far this season. Something to take into mind. Is what it is. We'll go ahead and yeah, I guess we're done actually. It was fun. I'm not mad it's over, but to continue to build this team, I think it's possible. Get rid of some old pieces. I know we just traded away our draft, but if we didn't do that, I feel like this would be very possible. We still have like a guy like Cesar Ruiz who's like kind of phasing out. Same thing with Nelson, Gesicki. We can get another tight end easy. You can kind of just look around, find guys that are kind of going to get phased out soon, and then you could start to build with the young, and that's kind of the fun of it. But when you have a team this good and they underperform that much, it just gets frustrating to the point where you don't think it's even possible that they could do better. So that'll be it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, consider leaving a like and subscribing. That'll be all. Yeah. Deuces.